Hey everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back. Yesterday I said that my plan was to take two videos, one after the other, following my video response to FameTrooper, but I was busy. I had like a 2-hour course yesterday night that I needed to do, so I really didn't want to make a video like at midnight. Could have been interesting, but I would probably start talking nonsense. So since I am available this morning, I decided to do this video now because I really wanted to do it because this is a great day. It took me years before deciding to play it, and after 66 hours, I finally beaten one of, you can say, a game out of my bucket list. I've always wanted to play, especially lately. It was really on top of my list. And as I said, this was the first in my New Year's resolution. I need to play this game. I don't want to wait anymore, and that is Persona 4 Golden. Finally, about time. At the point that this had become a joke between me and my good friend on YouTube, Leo the Funny Nerd, as we always talk about Persona, and he knew that I own this game, but I never played it, and it was there collecting dust. And he always talking to me like, "What are you doing playing other games while you have Persona 4 waiting?" I said, "Yeah, it's there, and I'll play it sooner than later." And this on and on. It kept going for months. We talk about it. I still didn't know. I haven't touched it, and. I remember it was a great example, as he said, like, you have like the best beer in the world, you're still not drinking. I was like, I'm saving it for great occasions and stuff like that. I don't know why I was dragging my feet with Persona, but after playing Metroid Samus Returns, I said, that's it. I'm playing Persona 4, done. And that's it. The thing is, why did it took me so long before playing Persona? I mean, this is one of the most beloved RPGs by the RPG community. It's by many people considered to be the greatest JRPG of all time, if not the best game of all time. And the thing is, as we all know, of course, Persona, it's a sub-series that in a way had become more prominent than the original one, which it's a sub-series of the Shin Megami Tensei games. And that's the thing, that's the issue. I have a kind of a weird relationship, if you can call it that, with the Shin Megami Tensei series. And that is simply, again, you can call it that because it's not that I've played every single game, but and my previous experience with Shin Megami Tensei is direct experience. It's with just one game, and that it's Devil Survivors 2. But I always knew about Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, and all that for years and years. But I think that the game started to become available in Europe from the PlayStation 2. Maybe there was something on the PlayStation 1 that I don't know. But Persona, I think the first we actually had was Persona 3, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, I'm not an expert on the series. Other European gamers, let me know if I'm missing something, of course. And again, like, what was was Shin Megami Tensei 4 available here? I have no idea. But anyways, so, and again, I didn't own a PlayStation 2, so I didn't have access to Persona 3 and 4. But then, on the DS, there were Shin Megami Tensei games available, and here's the interesting thing. I love Devil Survivors, but at the same time, it really frustrated me, and kind of made me skeptical about Shin Megami Tensei overall. Meaning that, but at the same time, I have the feeling that I should like this game, and I'm pretty sure I would like these games, because as Devil Survivors 2 showed me, I love the characters, I love the setting and the darkness of the story, I love the themes, I love the style, But what really frustrated me was combat. The combat system, the demon fusion was not really. I thought it was a big force down your throat in a way, but it's just me not being used to it, I suppose. Because again, I love the combat system in that game, as it's a strategy RPG, and as I said, I really liked it. But by the end, the difficulty spiked through the roof, and I know that's not a reason enough to dislike a game, and I don't dislike Devil Survivors 2. I actually like it. So. But made me a bit skeptical about Shin Megami Tensei. And I know Persona, going back after this long tangent, it's part of that series. So I bought it because it's kind of like something that you need to own on the PS Vita collection. And since I've always proclaimed myself as a big JRPG fan, it was kind of ridiculous that I didn't even own a Persona game, and I never played it. So I've decided to. I was like, that's it. I'm playing Persona 4, and boy, what an experience! Where do we even start? I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the story because, of course, you all know the story of Persona 4. Let's just say that you are a teenager, a high school student who transfers from the big city to this small countryside town of Inaba. And soon afterwards, strange things start to happen every time the fog covers the city. Meaning that every time the fog arrives in Inaba, soon after there is a murder. And together with other characters that you progressively meet, you decided to investigate this and try to solve the mystery. And from there, it's this crazy adventure investigation that makes you go inside the televisions. There is this world inside the TVs where you understand, like, you come into contact with personas and shadows in this weird world that is later explained in a very interesting way, and all this crazy stuff. So as I say, I don't want to get too much into the story because, as I say, you all know it, and I want to avoid spoilers and stuff like that for any other idiots like myself who haven't played it yet. So let's go into the fact that, as I said before, this game is hailed as the crown jewel of the JRPG genre. So many people consider it the best JRPG of all time. Is it true for me? Like, after playing it, and as I said, it took me 66 hours to finish this because, full disclosure, I played on easy because I wanted to fully experience the story and avoid any frustration like I did with Devil Survivors 2. And I have to check if I played that on normal or something else and not on easy, because maybe if I play on easy I can finish that game. Because I was very close to the end. But my feeling with Persona 4 Golden now is that, is this the greatest JRPG ever played? No. Is it good? Fucking yeah, it is. It's fantastic. But it's not my favorite. Although now I fully understand why so many people love this game so dearly, and I loved it too now. I'm one of the crowd, and I would like to know from diehard fans like Leo and others what their favorite elements from the game are, because from my point of view, where the game really shined was not really the JRPG, but rather it was Persona, the visual novel, because the game has a really heavy visual novel element to it. There is a ton of dialogue, and consequently, this is where the game, to me, like the best, absolutely best feature of the game to me are the characters. This is a fantastic cast of characters. I really enjoy talking with them, exploring their stories, figuring out what's going on with them, and I believe in that regard, Persona 4 it's excellent. So as a consequence, as I said, the visual novel part, because what I wanted to do in the game was talk with the characters. And particularly my favorite character from this crazy bunch was without a doubt Kanji. I absolutely loved Kanji. He was hilarious, but I also really like his story. But all the others, like from Yosuke, Chie, Yukiko, Naoto, Teddy, Rize, great cast of characters. Then that's what I really wanted to do while I was playing Persona. It was to talk with them, develop the social links, discover more about them. Also, because their characters are connected with the, let's call it the shadow words, the word inside the TV, because it's an, maybe it's a bit of a spoiler, but I don't care. It's an old game. As I did, or it's a PS2 game. Give me a break. Since the word inside of TV is a reflection of the human mind, basically, all these stages are a reflection of the dark side of the character. So it was very interesting. I really like that. And so that's what I really love about Persona 4. The characters and the visual novel part of like talking with them, developing the social links, developing a relationship with other characters at the same time. That was fantastic. But what about the RPG part? Because as I said, in all honesty, I've played better. As pure JRPGs, it's good. It's good, but it's not mind-blowing. Meaning that, to me, the dungeons were kind of a secondary part. I mean, oh yeah, I have to explore the dungeon. Damn it, I wanted to talk with this character. Sometimes it almost felt like a chore, like homework. Oh yeah, I have to do this dungeon. Let's go immediately so I have time to develop social links later. That's how my mindset while entering the dungeons. But at the same time, as I said, I like the idea behind the dungeons, so like the settings and all of that. I don't think how can I say this? It's not that I didn't like, but I don't think it was like how the dungeons are structured. It's the best way you can do it, like this pre-rendered, or that every time you move to the floor to the other, you have to re-explore the entire dungeon or something. Could have been done better, I think. And from what I heard, Persona 5 really perfected the dungeon systems from Persona 4. So I'm very curious about that. But the thing that I love about the dungeons are like how they are connected with the characters. Like I love the sauna level. That was hilarious. I really like the nightclub. That was one of my favorites. The 8-bit dungeon level. That was hysterical, I think, with that music. And we'll talk about the music in a moment. So the final dungeon that I explored, a Hollow Forest or something, that was very interesting. But yeah, and as a consequence, like exploring the dungeon, I liked it because I liked the setting and the music in the dungeons. And then let's move on to combat. What do I think about the combat in Persona 4? Again, I've played much better. Like, of course, now that I'm making a video, there are like 3 sirens. So, like the combat in Persona 4, it's good. I enjoyed it, but as I said, I play much better, if I have to be honest. The thing is, as I said, I play the game on easy, so maybe on normal, hard, pure evil, those kind of things, maybe it's a bit more engaging. And it's not that I didn't like it. It's a good combat system, and it relies heavily on finding the enemy weaknesses so that you can exploit your personas in order to do the max possible amount of damage and taking advantage. And I don't mind that. It was fun. But again, considering that overall the exploration of the dungeon was not the main reason why I was playing, I don't want to say rushed it, because I enjoyed participating in combat in Persona, but I just wanted to finish the dungeon as fast as possible so I can go back to what I really loved about the game, talking to the characters and the social links and the visual novel part of the game. So it's interesting that overall, to me, Persona, it's almost like a fantastic visual novel with this heavy, good RPG elements. That's how I tackle the games basically from the beginning, and I would say why I love it so much now. Let's move on to another element that I absolutely loved about it. The music. The music in Persona 4, it's fantastic. I love this soundtrack. I love the fact it's full of songs and really catchy songs to begin with. I remember, like, for example, I was usually playing on the bus or something, and like was walking around Inaba in order to find characters to talk with. I remember I was always like humming that very catchy song that you have like after school. It's like no 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 like this. I love that. But my favorite piece of music from Persona 4 has to be, there are two which I particularly like. The nightclub music in the let's say Arisa dungeon. I love that. It was so interesting, such a catchy song again. But my absolute favorite is the battle music when you have the advantage. That is such a cool, catchy song. I love that. To the point that I'm thinking about buying the soundtrack because it's just that good. It's a fantastic soundtrack. It's kind of different from your typical RPG, like from a Final Fantasy or from a Legend of Heroes games. It relies so much on songs, and in a way, it's interesting. It reminded me of The World Ends With You, that had a lot of songs. Since not really, but you can say like the setting, it's kind of similar. It's like it takes place in modern day Japan. So I did the connection. I was very, very curious, but fantastic soundtrack. So overall, I mean, I would love to talk more about it. We'll see. But in general, this is just a brief discussion video because I just wanted to mention that I beat Persona 4 Golden and I absolutely loved it. But it's interesting, I think, why I loved it so much. And now I'm absolutely a fan of the series. I cannot wait to play Persona 3 on the PSP, although now, of course, I wanted to buy it like the same day I finished this. Okay, let's buy Persona 3 on the PSP. And naturally, the game is expensive for some reason now. That's not rare. It's like £70, $70. That's a bit too much for a PSP game. But we'll see. Of course, I'm very interested about Persona 5. But I'm not going to buy it for now. I'm going to wait for Persona 5 Golden on the Switch. If that's even a thing, I have no idea, but I think that's going to happen eventually. I think Atlus is going to put, Sega is going to put Persona on the Switch after Shin Megami Tensei 5, we'll see, but that's just speculation here. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy that I've played Persona 4. I'm very happy with the ending that I had. I don't think it was the super mega secret ending because I've read that there is a whole thing that I didn't see, so I don't think so. But I saved Marie at the end. I had a lot of social links maximized, so I think I managed to unlock a good ending, and yeah, I was happy. But what a great experience! What a great experience was. Now I see why this game is so revered. But it's interesting. I would like to know if you guys prefer the game for its RPG mechanics. That, in my opinion, if I have to like be bluntly honest, are not that special. They're good. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. I enjoyed the battle system, but I think the game really shines as a visual novel. Actually, that's why I loved it so much. And also, just like other Shin Megami Tensei games, I love the settings of the game. Like, I love Inaba, especially like the weirdness of the town on certain moments. Like, I remember I absolutely loved the moment when, even during the day and for different days, the the city is covered with the fog, and there is this weird music going around. I love that. It just felt like basically Twin Peaks, the Japanese version, like this weird town with its actually this weird little town with its strange things going on, with weird secrets, weird people going around. I mean, the fox, the old lady saying she's death and stuff like that. The Velvet Room, all these weird things, and so cool. And I also really like the overall story, even though if I have to, I love the murder mystery overall story. I like that. I like those things in also like JRPGs and something. It's a bit different than the usually save the world, like world shattering events. It's there. There is the world shattering part, of course, but the big block of the story, it's the murder mystery, and I really enjoy that. Even though, if I have to be honest, the motivations of the culprits were a bit okay. That's a bit too anime-ish in a way. But I still enjoyed it very much. I remember like when I discovered who the culprit is. I was like, really? Why? And when they explained it, I was like, okay. But as I said, I still greatly enjoyed it. So I loved Persona 4 Golden, absolutely. I had no doubts. So I'm very happy that I beat it, so Leo cannot bug me anymore with Persona. But I mean, I can see why he insisted so much. This is a fantastic game. I loved it, and I would like not to replay the whole game. Not really, because it's quite big. But I would like to explore some social links more, like maybe to have a different relationship. Because on my first playthrough, I decided to go with Chie as my, for example, romantic interest. I really like Chie. She's adorable for the most part. But I mean, I'm very curious about characters such as Ai, the Moon Arcana, or I was curious about starting a relationship with Marie, or Reese, of course. She's a great character. I mean, so many. As I said, it's all about the characters. These really well developed and interesting characters. And I have to say, I would love if there is like a Persona game. I have to say that it wouldn't be perfect if Kanji was the protagonist. I have to say, like, the design and the kind of storyline of the main character being like Kanji in a way. It would have been kind of interesting instead of, because I have to say the main protagonist being a silent character and all of that, it's kind of bland. But of course you kind of made up your own story with him. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden, fantastic experience. Definitely let me know what you think about this. I know probably most of you have already played it, but even more, let me know what you think after listening to me rambling about it. Because, as I said, to me, this is a visual novel, primarily a visual novel, and I loved it for it. But maybe you think this is the greatest JRPG of all time, which I don't see it, but really fantastic experience. As I say, I will probably play it again here and there to relax, because I cannot wait to re-listen to the music. And it's interesting, just to conclude this, that thinking about the music of Persona 4 kind of made me curious for a second about the, what's it called, the Dancing All Night game. Since I love the soundtrack so much, maybe that it's all entirely based on the Persona 4 soundtrack. But I really don't like rhythm games. But I love the Persona 4 soundtrack, so I might just buy the soundtrack and I'm happy. So that's it. Just a brief discussion of my personal experience with Persona 4. As I said, definitely let me know what you guys think. I would love to talk with this in the comments. And yeah, I can see it. I can see why it's so popular. It's such a well-beloved game, and yeah, I love it too. Absolutely fantastic game. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and take care.